Good afternoon. Straight ahead on OC News, 2 are dead and more than 20 people are injured from the collapse of 2 buildings in New York this morning.
The Santa Ana winds are blowing, prompting a red flag warning until 6 p.m. tonight.
A group of journalism students had the opportunity to learn what it's like to be a foreign correspondent. Our very own Meg Tragan and Kristen Goodwillie are in the studio to tell you all about it. This and so much more on OC News starts now. Hello and welcome to OC News. I'm Tatiana Coover.
And I'm Rebecca Walzak. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. An explosion caused 2 New York buildings in the Harlem neighborhood to collapse earlier today. The collapse of the buildings has killed at least 2 people, injured at least 20, and has set a search for anyone trapped in the debris. The cause is yet to be determined. Steve Casaubon has more details.
This is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like now. A large explosion rocked New York City's East Harlem Wednesday, demolishing 2 5-story commercial and apartment buildings. These pictures show where the buildings used to stand and the debris field on a nearby commuter rail track.
This is a tragedy of the worst kind because there was no indication in time to save people.
Officials aren't sure what caused the explosion, but they do say 15 minutes before the blast, residents here reported the smell of gas and called Con Edison, that's New York City's gas and electric company, but it was too late.
Con Ed dispatched a team immediately to respond. The explosion occurred before that team could arrive.
The blast shook the entire neighborhood, damaging several of the surrounding buildings. Many people felt it as far as 7 blocks away. Some were frantic in the aftermath.
It was like a big boom, like a loud explosion, like something blew up.
It was so powerful that you heard the boom and then it rocked the whole apartment.
39 fire department units, 168 firefighters, the bomb squad, and even drones responded to the explosion. But the investigation into what exactly happened is only just beginning.
The Santa Ana winds are blowing us all away and have prompted a red flag warning. The red flag warning is to alert that there is an elevated fire danger until 6 p.m. Small fires have been reported in Sylmar, Lancaster, Azusa, and nearby in Brea. Dylan Lujano is standing by at the top of the parking structures on the campus of Cal State Fullerton above the 57 freeway to tell us more.
I'm here on top of the Nutwood parking structure here at Cal State Fullerton, looking over the 57 freeway right behind me. Southbound lanes were closed earlier today due to a red flag warning issued by the National Weather Service. With the Santa Ana winds picking up at a powerful 65 miles per hour and the low humidity levels, it actually caused a fire, a 1-acre fire in Brea earlier today. The winds are expected to stay powerful and pick up throughout the evening. Especially with weather like this, it's important for residents to take the necessary steps to prevent any further wildfires. And for any more information you may need, visit readyforwildfire.org. I'm Dylan Lujano reporting for OC News live in Fullerton. Back to you guys.
Greater Orange County residents shared their support in this year's Muscle Walk over the weekend by joining forces to generate awareness for a good cause. OC News reporter Jacqueline Roman has more.
Make a muscle, make a difference. That was the motto this year at the MDA 5K Muscle Walk at the OC Great Park in Irvine. The Muscular Dystrophy Association held its 2nd annual Muscle Walk for the Greater Orange County chapter on Saturday. Adults and children of all ages came out to spread hope and support to families in the community dealing with muscular dystrophy.
I'm most excited to see all the families and volunteers that come out to support the cause as well, and all the smiles that every family's going to have.
Last year, the walk was held on one of the hottest days in March. This year, some wind kept it cooler for the day's events. Many of the participants enjoyed the cooler yet still warm weather as they strolled along the route.
It was really fun, really long, but we made it. It was good.
It was hot, but windy at the same time, so it was great weather this year. Doing the walk and being with the people you love and the people that support you the most.
The Muscular Dystrophy Association helps fund health care and research for more than 40 forms of muscular dystrophy and related diseases. With over 2,000 participants this year, it is the largest event of its kind. It attracts people of all kinds to come together as one big family. The Muscle Walk fundraised over $90,000 this year and brought hope and a fun-filled day to everyone in attendance.
Seeing all the families come together and just kind of be as one, and, when we take that one muscle shot picture, just seeing them all unite and all come together no matter what disease, no matter what, it is that they're going through personally. Today is the day that everyone comes together for the same cause, to find a cure for all of our diseases, to make a difference and to continue to provide hope for all of our families.
They've had a great turnout here for the MDA Muscle Walk. Everyone's out here for an amazing cause. Everyone's a winner. From Irvine, this is Jacqueline Roman reporting for the OC News.
It's one of the worst diseases that strikes senior citizens. It steals their memory, erases names, faces, families, and friends. It claims 500,000 lives a year. CNN's Elizabeth Conehan reports, however, that researchers have developed a way to determine those most at risk for developing Alzheimer's disease later in life.
There hasn't been a good way to predict who will get Alzheimer's disease, whose brains will get the plaques and tangles that destroy memory and concentration, and who will be spared. But in a first-of-its-kind study, a simple blood test was able to predict who would get Alzheimer's.
This is a really wonderful piece of science. It's the most significant observation that we've been able to report in my entire scientific career.
The researchers looked at the blood of healthy elderly people, checking for 10 fatty molecules called lipids. Those who had lower levels of lipids were more likely to develop Alzheimer's or the memory problems that precede Alzheimer's. On average, the change from healthy to sick took just 2 years, and the test was over 90% accurate. The researchers and the Alzheimer's Association point out that more studies need to be done to check and see if this test really works. And even if all goes well, the test won't be in doctors' offices for several years. So, who would want a test to predict Alzheimer's? After all, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Dr. Howard Fedoroff, a researcher in the study, says he'd want to know.
I would want to plan. I would want to work with my family to make sure that I attend to the issues that are important to us.
But some people might not want to know that they're destined for a devastating disease.
Spring break is just around the corner at Cal State Fullerton, but with fun and relaxation waiting, students should remember to stay safe. CNN Carl's Azus checks in with a college campus doctor on how to do just that.
During spring break, college students often flock to the coast for some sun, sand, and a splash in the ocean. While this is a time to kick back and relax, experts say don't let your guard down completely.
We want to be aware of your surroundings. If there are bad guys out there, they're looking for drunk students on spring break.
Blend in with the crowd and be sure to always have a buddy around.
Go out with your friends and return with your friends. Always have a designated driver. And if you are going to drink, be sure that you keep it under control.
Injuries are a problem for some students, and that includes sunburn. Don't forget the sunscreen and apply it often.
Every time you get out of the water, reapply the sunscreen.
If you're going abroad, don't put off getting your travel vaccines until the last minute. It takes at least a week for shots to become effective. And no matter where you stay, don't book a first-floor room. Break-ins are more likely on street level. Whether you're traveling to Miami or Malibu, enjoy the holiday, but stay vigilant. For today's Health Minute, I'm Carl Azus.
When we come back, the Titans are about to bust the brackets at this year's March Madness. And we have a few insiders to tell us more about the Guatemala trip that a group of journalism students have recently returned from.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, I stole a cheeseburger once. I'm a dog.
weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
The Big West tournament is underway. To find out how our Cal State Fullerton teams are doing, let's turn now to Kevin Harden, who has all the sports news.
Cal State Fullerton men's basketball, after already clinching a spot in the Big West tournament, faced off against UC and Irvine and traveled to Aloha State to play Hawaii to finish up the conference. It's not on the prompter. Conference play last week, and they've lost both games back-to-back to end the season, losing to Irvine 62-44 and Hawaii 81-77. They now take on the 6th seed in the Big West tournament that starts tomorrow at the Honda Center and must now face off against number 3 seeded rival Long Beach State, who is looking for revenge after a loss just over a week ago. The women's basketball Big West tournament kicked off yesterday as number 7 ranked Fullerton took on number 6 ranked Long Beach State in a rematch of last week's battle, in which Fullerton prevailed with a 71-55 win. The big game was close, but Long Beach State came out on top, squeezing out a 64-60 win to move on. Baseball season is full swing as the Titans took on Baylor in a 3-game series over the weekend. Baylor was able to snap Fullerton's 6-game winning streak by beating them in the second and third games of the series, both by 1 run, 1-0 and 5-4. Fullerton continued to skid as they lost to San Diego last night in extra innings 5-3. The Titans return home this weekend for a 3-game series versus St. Mary's and hope to return to their winning ways. The record stands at 8-6, and they have not yet started conference play. Women's softball participated in the Judy Garman Classic tournament over the weekend, where they played a rigorous schedule of 5 games and 4 days. In the first game of the tournament, Fullerton handed San Jose State a loss 5-2. In game number 2 of the tournament, they took Fresno State apart 9-2. Senior shortstop Gabby Aragon put the cherry on top with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 6th. They then dropped the next 3 games to Nebraska, Arizona, and Wisconsin to bring their overall record to 15-10. Fullerton next plays on Friday when it opens the Titan Classic tournament against Canisius. Women's soccer kicked off its spring schedule last Thursday against Cal Baptist. Unfortunately, Fullerton took a tough loss of 1-0. Their next game is scheduled for March 15th against Cal State San Marcos. March Madness is upon us. This Sunday marks Selection Sunday, and the opening rounds of the tournament start on the 18th and 19th. Make sure to have a pen handy and fill out those brackets. It might just earn you $1 billion. That is if I don't beat you to it. Back to you, Tatiana.
Technology is always changing and churning out new and innovative products. Jose Campos is here to tell us about some of these new products, including Google Glasses and a smart refrigerator from Samsung.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the sunny weather in Southern California, and today, so you can learn more about technology, I'm going to share with you about some of the electronics that are trending this year. So considering the changes we have seen in technology over the past years, one of the most attractive electronics in today's world are smart televisions, which according to the website, the Forbes website, the number of people buying these devices are expected to reach around 123 million, which is causing major companies such as Samsung, Panasonic, and LG to drop their prices as more consumers enjoy the different applications included with these televisions. So as you can see, we got Twitter, All-Share Play, and some other applications that you can simply enjoy with your remote control. And then the second one we have are the smartwatches. So rather than having to pull out your smartphone, tablet, or iPad for frequent text messages, email, and even social media updates, you just have to glance at your watch, and of course, it has the capability of responding to voice controls. The third one is Google Glasses, and although Google hasn't yet released these to the general public, as you can see right on the screen right here, the company already made them available to a group of users here in the United States, but the selling price for these was $1,500 a pair. So technically, these glasses look like a smartphone, but they were designed as a pair of glasses in which the users would just have to look upwards to see the display so they can enjoy all the features. And the last one for our segment is the Samsung T9000 Smart Refrigerator that includes a 10 inches Wi-Fi enabled touchscreens and includes applications such as Evernote, and is even able to run picture slideshows. So this refrigerator runs under the Android system, and the price is around $7,000. So now every time you are cooking, there is no way that you can get bored. And how about Rebecca? That's all I have for you today. And how about Rebecca? I'll buy the Google glasses for you, but you buy the refrigerator for me. Back to you.
I don't know about that. I think I have a refrigerator, but thanks, Jose. When we come back, box offices this month are going to heat up with some anticipating movies. And first kisses can be awkward, but now there's a viral video on strangers having their first kiss.
What? It's make-believe. Nobody left anything under your pillow.
If there's no credit fairy, then we'll make our credit score go up.
We will. By doing things like paying our bills on time.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
How's she doing?
She was a passenger. I was T-boned on the passenger side. Right.
We just had some wine. I wasn't even drunk, I was just buzzed.
What? You were just buzzed? Well, sir, you didn't tell us that. In that case, she's just fine.
Yeah. I'm fine.
Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
A group of journalism students got a first-hand look at what it's like to report in a foreign country. It was all part of a class on the campus of Cal State Fullerton. This semester, 13 students traveled to Guatemala. Our own Meg Tragan has among the selected few who accompanied the group of doctors and nurses, and she got a chance to report on the experience. Meg is in the studio with more.
Thanks, Rebecca. It was quite a remarkable experience. It was a lot of hard work, but absolutely worth all of the mosquito bites and malaria pills. A lot went into the planning of the trip, and I would say it all came together really, really well. But I'm not the only one who got to experience it. I have Kaylee Krish here with me. Welcome to the show, Kaylee.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So a part of our journey was with a medical mission, which I personally thought was one of the more rewarding experiences. What did you think about the first few days we spent with the medical mission?
You know, that was probably one of my favorite things that we did, was actually going to the mission. I'd never seen a group of people come together who didn't know each other from all different parts of the country and completely work as a team and totally embrace us as journalism students, having cameras in their faces and asking them questions and interviewing them all the time. They were so open to it. And then again, seeing all the children and the parents just coming in and so grateful to have any sort of medical care. It was a great experience.
I definitely agree. That was one of the really special things, people who don't know each other coming together. And for patients who they can't even talk to, most of them didn't speak any Spanish, which was amazing.
Which was so helpful that we had the translators there. And I mean, there was only, I think, 5 or 6 of them and running around all the time just translating anything they could, but they were so happy to do it. So that was awesome.
Definitely, it was great. So we're in a foreign country, just kind of jumping in. What were you nervous about in terms of finding the stories in this unknown land?
Yeah, well, as I'm sure you know, and you probably felt the same way, going to the first place we went in San Raimundo at the very first medical mission, it was stressful because we had no idea what stories we were going to find or what we were supposed to tell or anything like that. We didn't know if things were going to fall in our lap or if we were just going to have to really push for something. So after I got my first story, which was on the director of Refuge, once I got that, it just kind of seemed like everything started to flow, and I may have taken on a little bit more than I had expected, but there's so many amazing stories that I just wanted to get everything I could.
Definitely. I feel like being a journalist in America has its perks, especially when you can speak the same language as the people you're trying to get stories on. I feel like that was one of the challenges.
Not only that, but being able to Google anything that you need at the time. We didn't have any internet or anything, so if you had a question or wanted to reference something, you couldn't.
That's a really good point, definitely. So we did so many incredible things in Guatemala. Yeah. We each wrote so many stories. Yeah. What would you say was your favorite one to do?
My favorite one was probably on the water project that we did in Sartsoon. On that area, on the Caribbean side, it is just, it's only accessible by boat. So, I mean, we were going in and out by boat all the time. They don't have any clean water. I mean, most of Guatemala doesn't have clean water, but this particular area, it's really hard for them to get clean water, which means that they're disease-ridden and not, developing properly and not able to work. And what Refuge International did was they came in and put multiple wells up and down the Sartsoon River, which enabled people to become healthier and get an education and do all these things. We talked to the villagers of San Juan, and they were so excited and so grateful just to have clean water, which is something that we completely take for granted here. And seeing how happy they were, we talked to a gentleman who had said that he completely saw it change from 10 years ago when they had no clean water to now, and just how much more happy everyone is, and there's less disease, and everyone's being able to work and do things that they weren't able to do before just because of water. So that was probably my favorite story to do, because everyone was so happy, and it's such a simple thing that we take for granted.
Definitely. I feel like I noticed a lot of those kinds of things that we take for granted, like when we went down that little alleyway where all the people were living in just these little tin huts, and all they had to play with was a ball, and they were having the time of their life with just a ball. That's all it took.
Well, not only just the ball, but they were so excited to see us, and so excited, that little boy, to show us his puppy. Like, he was so excited to show these group of Americans his puppy, and he was so proud. And just seeing that, I mean, they don't even want more. They don't even know that they can have more. So the fact that they are so happy, we know that they have so little, but they're just perfectly content and perfectly happy with what they have.
Yeah, definitely. So one of my other questions for you, I feel like we were all pretty well prepared, other than my forgetting all of my clothes at home when I was at the airport, but that was sorted out very quickly.
It turned out well.
Yes, it was fine. Was there anything that you wish you knew before you went, anything you forgot that you really wish that you would have remembered?
Going on the trip, there was nothing that I was like, oh man, I really wish I had this. I feel like I was probably over-prepared because we were told so much about, you need to bring this and don't forget that. So I feel like I was a little over-prepared, which means that I had to carry a lot of stuff with me. So I think what I wish I would have known is what I didn't need and what I wasn't going to use, so that my luggage wouldn't have been so much and my backpack wouldn't have been so heavy and all those things, because when you're trying to go through airports, especially in a foreign country, it's hard to even get your bearings, let alone trying to keep track of all the crap you have. So I think that's probably something that I learned, is I could travel a lot lighter next time.
I would agree, but I feel like it's better to have it with you than to wish you had it.
Oh, exactly.
I feel like we were opposite sides of the spectrum as far as packing went.
Yeah, probably.
So we were so lucky to participate in Professor Brody's special Reporting on Minorities class, because he only does these trips once a year. Other classes in the past have gone to Cambodia, Vietnam, Mexico, and next year it sounds like they are headed for Africa. So if you're interested, definitely keep an eye out for applications. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Kaylee.
Thank you for having me.
One of our own OC News correspondents, Kristen Goodwillie, also had the opportunity to go to Guatemala and had quite the experience in the jungle of Tikal.
After working long hours at the medical clinic, our group decided to relax in the rainforest.
I'm in the rainforest of the Tikal National Park, where we are going to be seeing Mayan ruins and some fabulous wildlife. So come on.
We begin our 4-mile hike at the Mayan sacred tree, otherwise known as a ceiba tree. To the Mayans, it was known as the Tree of Life. Shortly into our hike, we see all kinds of wildlife. There are monkeys eating fruit in the trees, lemurs running through the canopy floors, and we see a variety of different birds, and even think we hear a jaguar.
I don't know if you can hear that, but those are howler monkeys. Crazy. It sounds like Jurassic Park.
After the jaguar scare, we finally found the Mayan ruins. We explored their palaces, sacrificial sites, and their breathtaking temples. It's a wonder how they created these massive temples without the wheel or basic tools we would need today. Some people even attribute this masterpiece as the work of aliens. Nevertheless, the stairs were taunting me to climb them, so I mustered up all my energy to climb these steep stairs. Even though I was able to make it, my shoes didn't fare as well. But once I got to the top, the view was amazing.
Do you guys recognize this shot? It's from Star Wars. But actually, we're at the tallest temple of the Mayan ruins. I hope you enjoyed our trek through the rainforest. From DeKalb National Park, I'm Kristen Goodwillie.
Wow, guys, that was amazing, and I honestly can't wait to see these stories developing over the next few weeks. But it is always great to go to the movies. So here's Jesse Gawali with a look at some exciting movies to catch up on.
Thank you, ladies. While the weather warms up here in Orange County, you can be sure that the box office is heating up too. Though the month of March is coming out to a slow start, you can be sure things will speed up with the video game turned movie Need for Speed. Breaking Bad's Best Supporting Actor jumps to the screen and headlines the cast for this action-packed crime thriller developed by DreamWorks and EA, Electronic Arts. Aaron Paul stars in the lead role as Toby Marshall, a racer who was framed and sent to prison, who will stop at nothing to race for respect, honor, and most of all, redemption. With obstacles in his way and a big target on his back, Need for Speed is a sure bet to get your engines revving with excitement this Friday. America's Favorite Frog is back in theaters this upcoming Friday, March 21st. Kermit and the gang have some serious problems on their hands in Muppets Most Wanted. Can the gang free Kermit after a major mix-up? Here's a sneak peek.
An explanation of the kind of confusing plot of Muppets Most Wanted.
This is what we've all been waiting to hear.
An evil tour manager named Dominic Bad Guy.
Pronounced Bad G. It's French.
Takes the Muppets on a world tour, but he's really working for an international criminal who looks just like Kermit.
I am Kermit.
Kermit gets framed and thrown into a Russian prison where the Muppets have to break him out.
Wow.
Then there's a stage show, 2 cops, a helicopter, and whatever this thing is. Could anyone possibly want more?
If spring couldn't come soon enough for you at home, then you've probably been crawling around in your seat, waiting for the next spring installment of the latest Marvel movie, Captain America: Winter Soldier. You'll have to wait a few more weeks, though, for Chris Evans to reprise his role as America's greatest hero, Captain America. Now in the modern world, Steve Rogers will have to embrace this unfamiliar territory while facing his biggest challenge yet, a threat from old history, the Winter Soldier. That'll do it for me here. Back to you, Tatiana and Rebecca.
Thanks, Jesse. A first kiss can be exciting and nerve-wracking. It's strange to watch first kisses and even stranger to be doing the kissing. In a viral short film on first kisses, strangers are shown kissing for the first time. For a fashion brand. CNN's Jeannie Moose has more on the story on the first kiss.
Kisses. From Super Bowl ads to the sublime, but imagine kissing a stranger.
What was your name again?
Greg.
Someone you've met only a minute or two before your lips meet.
Justin.
Elizabeth.
How are you?
Nice to
Shall we
meet
make
you.
out?
Absolutely.
That's the concept behind a video burning up the web. First Kiss is sponsored by Ren, a clothing line, but the awkward lines are what you remember.
Since you're an actress, you've done this before. And
A little bit.
you have nice eyes.
There are gay kisses.
Can you turn off the lights?
And kisses between young and older. Jill Larson, for instance, was an actress in the now-canceled soap All My Children.
What kind of a mess have you gotten yourself into now?
But in this case, she's playing herself. Some were ready to plunge in.
Good to go whenever?
Others seem nervous.
Do we just do this anytime?
Yeah.
The interesting moment was before and after the kiss. It's almost more intimate and more awkward.
Director Tatia Pilieva picked the 20 strangers from friends and friends of friends. How long did you sort of torture them till you actually had them kiss? Only a minute or two.
But that's a long time when you have 5 cameras pointing at you.
Let the kissing begin.
You didn't have to face your mother.
Some critics mocked it as a kissing audition. The shyest kiss was between the gay guys. The song We Might Be Dead by Tomorrow was performed by Soko, one of the kissers. Kissing completed, awkwardness returned.
What's your name again?
It was so tender. The world seemed like a kinder place just watching people be so sweet.
Loved this, posted one person. I wonder if any went back for dessert. One of the couples ended up going out to a park. Another couple ended up going to lunch. Maybe these first kisses
That was a good one. I'm sorry.
weren't necessarily their last. Ginny Mo, CNN,
Should we make out more?
New York.
Steamy. That's going to do it for us here on OC News. I'm Tatiana Coover.
And I'm Rebecca Walzak. We'll see you next time on the next edition of OC News.
Thank you.